Well, since
Okay, so
you would just say, would just say, okay, I have King Aijalon the Ansubu in the living room, Black Living Room Talk, and I have a beautiful young lady. Looks like I can't pronounce her name though. Would you say your name for the people, my sister?
Matara, the goddess, Matara.
Matara, the goddess. Okay, that's beautiful. So, what are we going to be talking about, or do we just have a freestyle subject? That would be fine too. What about starting with what we were talking about earlier? The 5 points that you talked about, the COINTELPRO project. I thought that was very interesting, and I think the people would love to know about that.
Could you guys give me 1 second, please?
Sure.
I gotta put my headphones on so I can hear you guys better. Yeah, Ansubu, thank you, TBwahid, for having me on Black Living Room Talk. I was preoccupied getting set up. What was the question?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was asking you about the 5 points that you brought up earlier about COINTELPRO. The 5 points that you talked about.
Okay, well, COINTELPRO operation has different levels. And for each decade, they implemented a different part of COINTEL. So when they first came forth with the COINTEL operation, it was the operation of divide and conquer. They were looking for a black messiah or any organization that was in the black community that would unite after they had used redlining and got us out of segregation and bring us into integration. They integrated us into the worst parts and districts of their cities, or their townships, or their municipalities. And so COINTEL was to keep the environment that the blacks migrated into from the south, from the east coast, and from the Midwest and up north as they came to California. We see the COINTEL operation under a microscope. It affected black people all over the place. But when we use the binoculars, we see it operating against organizations like SNCC, Operation Push, NMCP, the Nation of Islam, the Uhuru House, U.S. movement, and most of all, the Black Liberation Army, New Africa, and especially the Black Panther Party in Oakland, California. And when we speak of COINTEL, that operation was to get inside each organization and cause dissension among the compadres, or the colleagues, where there'll be suspicion of one another, and at the same time infiltrate each organization with informants who would mess with the paperwork, where they can say each organization practice bad accounting, taxes, or other mischievous or malicious activities.
And there's really, to tell you the truth, now that I'm thinking about it, as you're saying this, there's really no numbers for it. I mean, you said 5. I really see it goes beyond that. I mean, there's so many of them, so many projects. I mean, just think about it. It's like, oh man, just watching TV, and seeing the project. The different commercials and how they do the commercials, and it's like sometimes you're sitting there watching and you can't really believe this. Did I really see that? How they mix it up, and you'll see the little black girl with a white father, or, and it's hard to see it. Sometimes it blinks so fast. It's like seconds. It's like, I'm like, okay, what are you guys trying to do? I see what you're trying to do. But some people won't pay attention to that. But, to me, that's the project too. Trying to make things seem something, that they trying to make it seem like on TV that this is the way it is, but this is not really the way it is.
I have to agree with you to the fullest. As they implemented their COINTELPRO operations, they created scenarios. They created great Hollywood productions, which is called black exploitation. And if you look at the black exploitation movie, they always used it the red, black, and green, and they used it the black power organization in the images of Hollywood as fronts for drug activities within the community. Cotton comes to Harlem, Piece of the Action, just different black exploitation movie back in the 60s and 70s, when we were supposed to get ourselves together. Hollywood created an image that the Black Power movement was a movement where people took money, they barked out order for their own self-righteousness, they practiced extortion, bad accounting, tax evasion, sexual harassment, and the peripheral of other things. The second part of the COINTELPRO operation that came about in the 70s, as we lived the 60s, was the division between the black man and black woman, the max pimps.
Oh, yeah.
The welfare system. The black man cannot be in the home.
And you know what a perfect visual for that was? That movie that came out, and it was called Claudine. And it was with Diane Carroll and James Earl Jones. That was a perfect movie to give a description, of that. A visual.
It's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
To this very day.
Yes.
The style and the action in the movie, it showed a united community that was against the man, which is very different to today, where at that particular time the man was trying to break up the family in the home, and we were working against the man, and we stood together as a community to defeat the man. Today, well, I don't want to forward that quick because we can say so much for today. Let's get the goddess Matara.
Of course, absolutely. My sister, do you have anything to say to that? You want to add to the comment? I can't hear.
I'm sorry. And so we're going through a timeline, and the only thing I can say when the Ansubu was speaking, Ansubu, is that I was born in the 60s, and so a person would really have to speak about what they saw from their particular generation. And so I'm going to reiterate what happened in the 60s is they caused dissension inside of our organization. The people started accusing each other of snitching, being informants. People started going to jail. People was accused of male chauvinism, and being corrupt leadership, extortion, and one of the most powerful accusations one of the most powerful accusations. I got both these queens. I got Queen TBwahid and I got Queen Matara. These two goddesses. And so we're going to also include that preaching black while sleeping white was going on at the same time. And that's when the hippie movement, the SLA, the beatniks, Jane Fonda and Angela Davis, Communist Party USA, the International People Workers Party, and other organizations try to infuse themselves as associates or acquaintances or alliances with the black struggle. And I think that was one of the biggest infestations of being infiltrated in mental poisoning and reprogramming of what was the black power goal, and it diverted us
Absolutely.
and inclusivism, and we felt that our power struggle to receive power and authority over our own lives was now sabotaged by the illusion of inclusion.
I was just getting ready to say that.
That leads us to the 70s, when the pimping, the macking, the black woman couldn't have a man at home. The black man was no good. He was a junkie. He was a womanizer. He was a player. He was an international lover. You know, that's when Billy D. Williams and Goldie the Mac and Superfly, and so there was an image of the black man being a sexual creature, but at the same time, it's synthesized from the family unit. He was a great dresser. He was a manipulator behind money, and he was a sex machine. But they didn't show him as being a responsible member of the family.
And when they did, you know what they gave you? They gave you good times. It's really sad. Really sad.
Well, good times, they was happy with Kool-Aid.
I know, but I'm just...
All they had to do was ask for Kool-Aid, and everything was going to be all right.
Yeah, but they put the responsible daddy in that, and that's where they put him. Struggling all the time. The whole family was struggling.
Go ahead, my queen.
No, I was just going to say, and the funny part of that is he never made it out of the ghetto. When he did, he died.
Well, there was some other components to that even though the power of the family seemed like it was with Mr. Evans, the authority and the last word was with Mrs. Evans.
Yeah.
And every time the family would come up with some money, Mrs. Evans would say, "Give it back. I don't want that in my house." Or that money is evil or something. It's like it came off the same dust that the white man made. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if you found it on the ground, or if somebody gave it to you as a paycheck, or somebody that you bought, I don't understand the mentality that they were trying to say. If the fall of the bridge trucks, you got to give it back. But if you can go borrow the stuff from the bank and get in debt. And so it was producing a really warped mentality that the black woman, certainly global white supremacy racism, as an upholder, it was a badge of honor for her to comply with every procedure, policy, rule, and regulation of global white supremacy, because she had her faith in white Jesus. And we see that on Good Times. I just want to examine it, because they had a black Jesus and they were getting lucky. They were getting blessed. They had favor, grace, kindness, compassion from the Most High, or the Creator, or the ancestors, whatever you want to call it. But she, the mother, Mrs. Evans, she said, "Get that picture out. The only Jesus I know was the white one."
Yeah, well, when they put that picture up, it was said, I read about it, Then when they put that picture up and that picture up in the Ebony magazine, they said black people had a hissy fit. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Oh my God. I couldn't believe them. They didn't want it. They didn't want that. They didn't even want. They didn't. They wanted the white one up, and I'm like, I don't know.
And that led also to a cultural revolution into black arts and Afrocentric programming, black studies, with the rejection of white Jesus by the younger, more industrialized, technologicalized, what the white man called radical or militant segment of the mentality of black progress. And the old Southern sharecropper, institutional racism, colored line, Jim Crow blacks did not want you to disturb their frame of mind because they didn't know anything. And they were not really the group that was educated. They left sharecropping, or they left the South, and have to venture out and see new states and find a new way of life. And so therefore all they had was their comfort zone. Where's the white Jesus in that Bible? Whether they could read it or not. It comforted them to hold on to their Bible and to have a picture of white Jesus or J.F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy in their home. That made them feel like that was their progress. Versus the Panther Cubs and the Republic of Africa and the Nation of Islam and the Black Hebrew Israelite and the Rastafarians and the SNCC coalition. It was a movement. At that time, in the 70s, the African country was going off colonial powers, fighting bloody wars with the French, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the Belgians, the English, the Dutch, the Germans, and so forth. It was really bloody, and that's when they enhanced the Pan-African struggle, and that went global. We've seen it in jazz, we've seen it in blues, we've seen it in the music called soul, which produced hip-hop.
Well, did you want the Queen? What? I'm trying to. How did you say her name again? Matara. Queen Matara. Would you like to say something about what we're talking about? Do you have any?
Yeah, I have. A lot of it. I used to hear about a lot of I do recall all the times that someone referred to it at one point that there was a lot of things that happened like that they were playing the dad people might make second spot.
You're breaking up, my sister, just a little bit. It's breaking up.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, please speak up in the mic a little stronger.
Okay. All right. So, as I was saying, it was brought up to me on a discussion that one of my friends had a while ago about the time, and they were actually saying the opposite. They said that it was always that the production was conditioned and showing that basically father, the head of the house, making that decision and was keeping them in the same spot, and that's what they wanted to show us, but you brought up a really perception on it. Your take on it was, that the mother was more minded and possible to uphold what she had been taught that was a good, quote unquote, saying, good citizen, and I did not really chip in on that. That's a very good thing that I think both of them were good. thing that people should look at and understand that this is something that is being projected into our minds. It's a conditioning way of thinking on how to product in, your life.
Exactly.
And how you think things are supposed to go. And there's another thing that you guys spoke about that I like to touch on. Speaking about how people from our community had such an uproar about when they changed the depiction of. I'm sorry.
White Jesus.
Yes, I'm really having a hard time saying that, because I always state the character Jesus Christ. That's just how I address it. I can't just say Jesus Christ. It's the character Christ. Okay.
And that's fine, my sister. This is Black Living Room Talk. You have the right to address these devils as you choose.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, so when my mom first tried to give me some insight on this book, I was a lot older.
So when you say book, you're talking about the Bible, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just want the audience to know what you're talking about.
I was really confused because my mom and her siblings grew up withholding a lot of the Muslim family. Now, my grandmother raised them as Muslims, but after they turned a certain age, she allowed them to, what they believed is they did not. They were what's going to call, I guess, sometimes, but basically what they did is they did not eat pork. But other than that, they were doing their own thing. So it was odd to me that, I don't know, I must have been about 7 or 8, and she brought a book. It wasn't the Bible. This is a Christian, and it was telling the story about Adam and all of this stuff. And then, I knew the first time that it wasn't making sense and that I was being lied to. I was flipped because at the beginning it said that those were the only two. And then he got upset with them, kicked them out of the land, and made them go somewhere where it was mother. And I was like, hold on, that's fine. And then I was asking my mom a series of questions. She didn't have an answer. And then, of course, she said what everyone else told her. You can't question God. And I said, well, what is that? What kind of mess is this?
They told me the same thing. You can't question God and don't question the Bible.
And so I'm like, how blinding is it that you want me to follow you? And but you're supposed to be the highest consciousness of love and everything great. And I can't ask questions. And to ask questions is how you gain knowledge. So you want me to learn blindly or bump my head and learn the hard way? I don't understand it. When it just never made sense. I always knew that I knew I was being lied to. And I never, I think that they learn or know. It's you believe what you say. I never believed what I said when I saw that picture of faith of that character, Jesus Christ. I never believed that thing. Never ever. I always looked at it like it's ancient. But when you read in the Bible, it's talking about somebody that reminds me of my brother. Right hair, wool. Don't look like what that picture.
Exactly.
So none of it, all of it was a lie. None of it was, being consistent. So it drove me to dig and literally get my. I tried so many religions. Because I was really searching, trying to find out what was my purpose. What are we here for? It has to be more than what they're telling us. It can't be that, society is telling us we're supposed to high school, graduate, and then go to college, and then go in debt behind college, and then go out to the career, or be in debt for, and then pay off the next 10 to 15, 20 years, all that debt off, and then retire and then die. I'm like, nah, it's got to be something more than this. And so I tried. I tried Baptist, I tried, of course, Christianity, Seventh-day Adventist. I tried 2 different of the cults of that Muslim religion. I'm sorry if it offends you. Y'all great. Muslim. Sorry if it offends you. If it offends you, boo, detach yourself from what I'm talking about, because I'm not talking about you individually or individually. I'm talking about the religion itself. That is nuts. Cuckoo. Okay? My experience of it was, I jumped up out of it quick, and immediately the guy told me that I could not, after I had one time took my shahada, I could not be a Muslim. And he wished death upon me. And said, we were stalling you, and you have the nerve and really wanted. He sounded, the devil just came out of that dude. He was just as evil as wicked as I had ever came across anybody. And I was like, wow. But this religion allows you to think that you're in the right. But you wishing it's on me. And being possessed by such low levels of vibration. You're wishing all of this on me because I don't want to subject myself and think like you think. I got my own body to think. I got my own life to live. I'm not your shit. You don't hurt me. But that's basically all that I had. That's basically it. I think that the TV and the media, people really do not understand. They think that it's just a small thing that is causing some small influence on them. It is much deeper than that. The music and the TV, if you don't understand what's going on, it's working all through, all the way down to your fingertips. Some of the stuff a lot of that stuff that they say in that Bible book, it is true. But if you can't depict the truth from false, you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's cooking. You just don't. It's a soup of mixed with all kind of stuff. So continue. What's your take?
Okay, so there we have it. There was a powerful, the stronghold that foreign religions have on us since we've been in colonialism and in chattel slavery, even in our coming to the Emancipation Proclamation or proclamation of us being emancipated, bringing us into the 70s and the 80s, the Good Time Show, leading us into the culture of hip hop. The music became a little more sexual, and also cocaine and mushrooms and ecstasy and different various mind-altering drugs Vicodins, narcos, and so our community became known as a source for drug culture. Drug culture became synonymous with the black community, and it changed from community to the hood. And at that time, COINTEL 3 inflected us with gang activity, mafiosos, grandiosos, where every crew wanted to be like Al Capone, Frank Nitti, and they start naming themselves. Little Capone, and Little Nitti,
Scarface.
And we just got, and so we really got saturated. Even in the rap culture, you could not find a rapper coming out of the South or the East Coast that named themselves after some Italian. And they just really was fascinated. They hit us with the movie Scarface.
Yeah, that's it.
It was just so many different movies about building drug empires and gang activity. And so that's the COINTEL operation, was get the black male in prison. It was the jail to prison. It was the school to prison pipeline, because the black male activity are painted in Hollywood, like the goddess Matara was saying. The TV is one of their tools. It's one of their activating, indoctrinating program tools. Subliminal seduction, suggestion. And the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches that further. If anybody wants to understand what subliminal suggestion is, check out Our Savior Has Arrived, Fall of America, and Message to the Black Man. For the topic tape, I want to thank Queen, the goddess Matara, and I want to thank TBwahid, the goddess, because this part right here, the hip hop era, COINTEL 4 hip hop era, right? I mean COINTEL 3 hip hop era. So we had COINTEL 1 breaking down black institutions, COINTEL 2, right? Breaking up the black family. COINTEL 3 was tearing up the black community and making them become hood. Are you guys with me?
Yeah, hood, ghetto fabulous.
Okay, and having us want to mimic cartels and syndicates and mob figures that was formed, and the shit that they said the mob and the syndicate and the cartel did, we never seen that shit. It's up on TV.
Yep.
We never seen the Italian neighborhood destroy itself, the Jewish neighborhood, the Latino and Hispanic neighborhood. We never seen them implode in self-destructive behavior. Even when they showed it to us on the screens. We never seen the Cubans, the Puerto Ricans, the Mexicans. We never seen them. Only persons that bullshit, or excuse my language, Black Living Room Talk, is a safe place. And I mean no harm or offense to the audience, but it's okay for kids to hear things in the Shiraz form, because I'm not going to do any parodying on Black Living Room Talk. I'm definitely not going to do that. Is that okay with you, TBwahid?
No parroting allowed.
Okay, cool. So, I'm just going to give it raw and cut. That bullshit that we see on the big screen, right, and that we watched on the VH1, on the beta, it only took place in our neighborhoods. That we seen them on TV, they let these people, foreigners, become the actors. But we acted that bullshit out in our own communities.
Mm-hmm.
The pimping, the prostitute, the toss-up, the strawberry, the gangbanging, the extortion, brothers raping brothers raping sister, the incest, the pedophilia. It crept into our very community, and our community stopped being communities and it started being hoods. And let me give an example. Every city had a black community. The whole black people in the city made up the community. All right? Which we moved into neighborhoods, right? So the community was all black people in the black city. That made up the black community. And then members of the black community lived in different types of neighborhoods, which came out of redlining. Came out of zoning. And I guess the NAACP in urban league in the rest of the mediocre so-called black civil organization did not express or explain to the community what the agenda was to tear the community up and to make it into hoods, to send the young men to prison by letting the community claim the hood and the hood being against other hoods, even though they're supposed to be a part of the whole black community. Is anybody following me?
I'm following you, and I have to say, remember when I mentioned earlier about another friend of mine that marked himself safe. I'm so glad he's safe because of that situation that popped off at the party in Chicago, Illinois, called Park Manor. The people were partying in there just like no tomorrow and playing that music, and it's, if you listen to it, it's saying things exactly what you just got through talking about, like the degrading, the name, it's and so somebody started shooting, and now there's like 4 deaths and 2 injuries. Like, really? I just, it's gone too far now. It's like, you're not doing this because of some type of, you're not Italian, and you're not, trying to protect. What are you doing? You're just driving around shooting randomly. Somebody stepped on your tennis shoes the other night. Like, really? Seriously? You don't even own the block, and you're complaining about somebody selling whatever in your neighborhood? Like, grow up. I thought we have really got to reach these youth. This is a crisis. I'm looking at that, and that just showed me that this is a crisis. A crisis.
So when we look at COINTEL, and I'll pass it to you guys, Makara. I just want to take an in-depth look so we understand that the hip-hop era, the drug usage, breaking up the community into neighborhoods. The next neighborhood had to be the enemy, and the drug needed to start cartels, mafias, gangs, crews, and mobs, what have you. It's all part of the COINTEL plan. So I don't blame my young brothers and sisters or the parents because they didn't know they were being social engineered.
Right, they didn't.
They spend millions and billions of dollars at UC Berkeley, Stanford, the Ivy League, at Howard. The same black people who graduate in the bully are the ones who implement these programs in the community, and they don't even know they're being used.
Absolutely.
For a larger agenda.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Queen Goddess Makara.
Okay. So yeah. Oh, okay. So what a lot of people don't understand that there's been some things that have happened. Hello?
Yes. We're here.
Oh, what happened?
We're here.
Okay. Screen changed the phone. People aren't aware that, the people that are behind the industry, this wicked industry, a very small number, and these people have done something with the music. Not just the music, not just the lyrics and so-called artists that they are allowing platform to influence us to, brainwash and help us to destroy ourselves and our mentality and how we do ourselves and others. You know, the the vibe itself, the tone, the tune. They went and did it on this tune. A lot of people don't know this. They went in these not the producers, the people who own the producers, the people that allow the establishment of all music. They tweak the music and they change the music frequency. A lot of people don't understand it. They change the music frequency to a level that is a low vibration. And then you can put these layers of lyrics on top of it that are great. Then you put more. It just keeps going. We can get a vision. And we put all of this into your subliminal. You're just getting bombarded on so many levels. And see, so people look out, some of you guys are so extreme. And no, honestly, there's some music that I hear, that I listen to, and it disturbs my spirit. And I have to turn it off. Some music literally gives me an attitude. Because I'm like, ugh, just disgusting, gross. Like, so when you look at the DaGoddess, the Earth, Wind, and Fire, these people sang on levels that these singers that we hear now, we're just like, what are y'all even doing? Y'all not singing. Y'all all sound nasally. This is the frequency of music that they have been subjected to hear, because they're gonna play it out until you don't have a choice besides start singing along, or just don't listen to it at all. Like, I don't even listen to it in my car. I ride in silence. If I listen to something, I'll plug it up to my phone. That way I'm not interrupted by that. All the constant radio conversation or the music that they're listening. And I'm usually listening to something that is that sounds, like the forest, nature. That's what I ride to, But what else? People don't understand about the frequency. They tweak the music tone in the levels, and the subliminal of all the dictionary that we use. The song that's out now, it's sad too, because we are vibrational people. When you look at our brothers and sisters over in Africa, on that continent, you see the vibration that they are on a whole nother, their vibration is high, and it is very staccato. They they play them drums, and then when the steps get to going, they are on that vibe. You come over here, and we're on a vibe too, but it's being conditioned, it's been perverted,
Well, I gotta get in there. And I don't know what type of look at Africa you're taking, tourists in the vacation part. You're absolutely correct. The drums, the hip, the vibe, the tradition. But in real life, in real time, all over the world, black people are in this hip hop low vibe frequency. They're producing low vibrational music in Africa. They're wearing wigs and eyelashes. Anything that the world sees us do over here, they want to do it. And that's just black people everywhere you at. We set the standard for what the image of black people is. And you got black people in Africa trying to join the Illuminati. Can't wait to be a part of the Mason fraternity and sorority. Do education, there's some classes. And so I understand what you're saying in our traditional sense, right? But with that, so what you're expressing is the original rhythm and the soul music that transpired in music, which is good for living in nature. But their mental frequency, they believe coming to Europe or into America to get an education and to bring Western culture into Africa and fuse it, right? And which creates social constraints that is detrimental to the African psyche, because once you get your Western education, in order to import Eastern society and Western society, you need Western engineers and architects and facilitators, and that's when they started inviting the Chinese and the Indian and the Persian and the Arabian and the European in, because the Africans, as common people, are not given a universal picture of knowledge. Nor are they given a continental picture of knowledge or information or geopolitical, institutional ideologies. They try to keep the basic African person within his clan or his village and inside traditions that has nothing to do with the global economy. But I understand what you're saying, Goddess Matara. As far as the rhythms are concerned, from the traditional point, they are in the natural rhythms and natural frequencies. But they have been bombarded with Cardi B also and Lil Wayne. Don't get it wrong.
Oh, no. I'm aware of that. I have, there's a lot of people that think that they can, that are from here, they're Americans that are here, that think that they can go over to Africa and everything's going to be great. Some of them are more brainwashed than us. Some of them really are.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that are from Africa. I have a lot of friends that are from Africa. Somalians. I have a couple of friends that I went to college with, that are from Sudan. And there was this one guy, I'll never forget him, Abraham. He was a very smart, he had a very strong spiritual high sense, like a high sense of definition. I really believe he was tapping into the clairvoyance, he had some powers. Like, he used to have some, what is it I'm trying to say? They were deja vu. They were more almost psychic abilities. Like, he knew things. It was like he could read your mind. He read your body language, but he could read further than the average person. Let's just put it that way. And so, he told me when he came over here to America, they showed us in the video, he said they tried to scare us, and they told us basically, they painted a bad picture of a black American.
Yeah.
They told us not to.
Yeah.
Not to be bothered. Yeah. And he was like, but I'm not no fool. He said, I just kept quiet. But I lost touch with this guy. But I have a feeling I'm gonna run back into him. Because it's a small world.
Mm. Yeah, that was some.
I have a feeling I'm gonna run back into him. I really do.
You talk about a divide and tactic.
Mm-hmm.
A divide and conquer tactic.
Yeah, he knew what was up. He knew they were lying to him. He could feel it. He was feeling it and sensing that they were already, trying to keep him away from something that he knew any connection. But his friend, that was like his brother, because when they come over here, they get people that's from their village or even from their tribe. So it's like they got a more tight knit family, and it's not just your immediate family. It's a lot of them, and they do for everybody that's in that connection, you know, wide spread. And so this guy was here, his friend was here with him, and he had an outlook. He tried to judge me because at that time I was a big 420. I was big on 420. I was a big hippie. I love Mary Jane, and they told him that was bad. He said, "Oh yeah, no, back home it grows natural and taller than me." And my friend Abraham was a tall African guy. So then African, he was tall. He was like, I don't know, I remember he was at least like 6'2", maybe 6'3". I think he was about 6'3". And so he was like, yeah, they grow taller than us over there. I was like, well, why don't y'all do anything with it? He's like, I don't know, they won't touch it over there. Because the man come over there and tell them that if they do anything with this or if they smoke it, that their spirit's going to jump out of their body. They're going to lose their mind. That's not real. So the control and the programming and the conditioning, and who we choose to listen to, who we choose to tell us what is right or wrong. We gotta really snap out of it. Like, we have to. I just don't understand what's it gonna take for people to. I ain't gonna worry about what's it's gonna take, because I don't even know if I can say I snapped all the way into it. I think I got lost at some point, but when I was a kid, I knew it was bullshit, and I still do that. So,
Well, I would like for us all to come back, and go a little further in this conversation, because I think that we're going somewhere, and I think that it's helpful to the people to hear this, because I like to have it just low key, and we're sharing just like we're sharing, because I think we're going somewhere with this conversation, because it's almost like I don't even know how to explain it, like some huge, it's a vast spell that has been put upon the people, and those of us with the knowledge, we're trying to, that can see beyond in this, we're like, we can see in this matrix, and we're trying to get those outside that can't see it, that to those of us, to understand those of us that do. It's just sometimes it's just the little things that you don't pay attention to. And I really would like, for you to be able to come back as well. I enjoyed listening to you on that. I really did.
oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And I really want to thank you for allowing me to get on here. And I thank Ansubu for telling me about this opportunity to speak, and share, some like minds, and awaken people to what's going on within our community and what's being played on.
Anytime, my sister. Anytime. And it's like, if you have anything that is just, if you have anything that the ancestors are picking your shoulders for, that you feel like the people need to know, feel free to send me a message, and I'll set it up, a date and a time, and we can make it happen. We can chop it up, which is what we're doing now, because they don't let up. The ancestors, they just, I want you to tell them this, I want you, nope. I just did a solo pod. I call them solo pods when I'm by myself, when I don't have no company. So I just did that the other day, and I did put it up on my podcast, but I haven't put it anywhere else, though. I said, because the ancestors was like, okay, come on, okay, I want to tell them, so you can't keep it to yourself, so I want us to be able to come back, and so we can do that. King Aijalon the Ansubu, what did you say about that?
I would love to come back, and because we did COINTEL 1, 2, and 3, we got to get into 4 and 5, so that people can know.
Okay.
They have a right to know.
That'd be great.
And the truth is what sets us free.
That's right. So we shall come back, and do you have anybody have anything else to say to the people before we close out? And I can make this happen.
I definitely do. I'm
Okay.
King Aijalon the Ansubu of Lord African Mind. Join African Market. Please go to www.lordafricanminds.com. Subscribe, like, comment, become a member. We need people in the IT. We need people doing social media. We need journalists. We need you to help support us so we can build tomorrow, today, for our children and our children's children. Lord African Mind is always speaking about worldwide African unity, but it's now in progress.
Okay. And with that, I'd like to say, please come and join me at TPM Shell on YouTube and also on Social Africa. That is Black Living Room Talk there as well, and Loyal African Minds as well. So you have 3 ways to get to this good show, and you can hear me, King Aijalon the Ansubu, and whenever Queen Matara, did I say it right?
Yes, you said it right.
All right, we got this. And so she will be with us at different times as well. And so you have a lot, good things and good people and good words to listen to and learn from. And so with that, with everybody, let's say peace.
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 Numaki Wawa.
Numaki Wawa.